Who was my fiercest competitor besides Ronnie Coleman? I have to give credit to a lot of people. I mean, a lot of my competition, but I'm talking those guys that were close to me in competition with the Mr. Olympia.
Less emphasis on the symmetry of the physique. I know it's important, but it was less.
Victor Martinez was a great challenger. Gustavo Bedell, Gunter Schlierkamp was also a great challenger.
Yeah, come
on. Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman was the Goliath of bodybuilding, an 8-time Mr. Olympia champ, a force to be reckoned with during the 90s and early 2000s. Meanwhile, Jay Cutler was this rising star, but whenever he looked up, there was Coleman casting a shadow of dominance. Cutler kept landing in the second spot, just behind the behemoth Coleman. Their showdowns at the Olympia became the stuff of legends, escalating year after year, painting a picture of unparalleled rivalry. And then boom, 2006 happened. Cutler, against the odds, pulled off the unthinkable. He snatched the title from Coleman's iron grip, sending shockwaves through the bodybuilding world at the time. It was like David finally toppling Goliath, but here's the kicker. Even after Coleman hung up his posing trunks, his legacy loomed large over Cutler. He wasn't just a rival, he was the standard, the measuring stick of raw competition. Imagine being in Cutler's shoes. Every lift, every rep, every posing routine, you're not just trying to win, you're chasing the ghost of Coleman. That's the kind of rivalry that's etched in bodybuilding history books. It's not just about winning, it's about overcoming a legend, the relentless pursuit of greatness. Coleman wasn't just a rival, he was the mountain Cutler had to climb.
Who was my fiercest competitor besides Ronnie Coleman? I have to give credit to a lot of people. I mean,
All right!
10 ounces, that's when I started putting on time.
Really?
But it was so hard to eat that much food.
To this day, Ronnie Coleman was my biggest, fiercest competitor.
And even when he reached the summit, the shadow of that rivalry continued to fuel Cutler's journey, forever marking him as a legend in his own right. Phil Heath. Phil Heath. He wasn't just another competitor for Jay Cutler, he was a storyline all on his own. Picture this, mentor and student, except they're both jacked, flexing on the biggest bodybuilding stage on the planet. It's like a muscle-bound Shakespeare play unfolding before our eyes. Here's the deal. Cutler took Heath under his wing, showing him the ropes, sharing the secrets of the trade. But, as fate would have it, that mentorship morphed into something epic, a rivalry that transcended the stage. These two went toe-to-toe for the Mr. Olympia crown, with Heath eventually snatching the title from Cutler's grasp. What's wild is that their beef wasn't the typical bitter sworn enemies kind. Nah, off the stage, they were tight. Picture Rocky and Apollo Creed having a barbecue after beating each other senseless in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the gift, Phil Heath.
I'll feed you. I'll feed you some weights.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3-time and reigning Olympia champion, Jay Cutler.
They maintained this rock-solid friendship despite locking horns on the bodybuilding battleground. But what makes this whole thing legendary is Cutler's graceful passing of the torch. When Heath finally outshone him, Cutler didn't throw a tantrum. He handed over the crown like it was Excalibur. That moment wasn't just a shift in titles, it was a seismic shift in the bodybuilding cosmos, a symbol of respect and the evolution of mentorship turning into a respectful yet fiercely competitive rivalry. Imagine having a protege who ends up becoming your biggest competition and then having the humility to give them props when they surpass you. That's the kind of class and sportsmanship that defined Cutler and Heath's relationship. An epic saga in the sweaty world of bodybuilding. Dexter Jackson. Dexter Jackson was like that friendly rival who knew how to shake things up in Jay Cutler's bodybuilding journey. He did the unthinkable, he knocked Cutler off the throne. For the first time, Cutler wasn't Mr. Olympia, and that must have stung. But here's the kicker. Cutler didn't throw in the towel. In fact, he got back in the game. Their story wasn't just about rivalry, it was also about respect. Cutler and Jackson weren't out there bad-mouthing each other. They were showing the world how champions deal with defeat and redemption. Cutler's Instagram video spilled the beans. Losing to Jackson wasn't the end of the world, it was a reality check. Imagine being at the top, feeling like you're untouchable, and then someone comes and snatches it away. Cutler didn't sulk, he reflected.
I have to give credit to Phil Heath. I have to give credit to Dexter Jackson because both those guys beat me. A lot of my competition, but I'm talking those guys that were close to me in competition with the Mr. Olympia.
He showed the world that setbacks aren't permanent. In fact, they're setups for comebacks. And guess what? Cutler didn't just bounce back, he roared back. He clawed his way up and took back what was rightfully his, the Mr. Olympia title. That redemption wasn't just about winning, it was about the lessons learned from defeat. Cutler's video wasn't just flexing muscles, it was flexing resilience and perseverance, reminding everyone that in the game of bodybuilding as well as in life, setbacks are just pit stops on the road to victory. Victor Martinez. The clash between Jay Cutler and Victor Martinez wasn't your run-of-the-mill showdown. It was a headline-grabbing, drama-filled chapter in bodybuilding lore. Picture this, the 2007 Mr. Olympia, a battle royale where Martinez stepped into the ring, guns blazing against Cutler. Martinez, a darling of the fans, poured everything into that competition, believing he delivered a show-stopping performance. Even Ronnie Coleman, the bodybuilding titan, gave Martinez a nod. But then came the controversy, the judges' call. Cutler emerged victorious, but the victory lap was anything but smooth. Critics raised eyebrows, questioning Cutler's conditioning and proportions, igniting a firestorm of debate. It was like watching a boxing match where the underdog throws the knockout punch only for the judges to call it in favor of the champ.
Question that we're waiting to have answered. He was third last year. Some folks feel he's going to take that step, move to second this year. Some guys like you.
Victor Martinez was a great challenger. Gustavo Bedell, Gunter Schlierkamp was also a great challenger.
Really what it comes down to is the physique that you're seeing right now, good enough to deliver that knockout punch to Jay Cutler.
Next up, competitor number 9 from the Dominican Republic, Victor Martinez.
You know, I say always, like, you're right, Riz, you have to knock him out, so...
Martinez felt robbed, and the bodybuilding world was split down the middle. Can you imagine the tension? Martinez believed he had it in the bag, but the judges' decision left him feeling like he got a raw deal. It wasn't just a matter of winning or losing, it was about perception, about who truly embodied the spirit of that competition. Cutler might have walked away with the trophy, but the shadow of controversy hung over that victory. It was a moment that divided opinions, stirring up discussions, and leaving Martinez and his fans feeling like justice hadn't been served. The 2007 showdown wasn't just a bodybuilding contest, it was a controversy that etched itself into the history books. Gustavo Bedell. Gustavo Bedell might not have been in the spotlight as much as some of the other big names in bodybuilding, but let me tell you, he was a force to be reckoned with in Jay Cutler's world. Picture this, Bedell, this underrated powerhouse, stepping onto the stage, ready to throw down with Cutler. Now Cutler didn't just brush Bedell off, he recognized the challenge that Bedell brought to the table. Cutler acknowledged Bedell's imposing physique and talent, giving credit where it was due. You see, facing someone like Bedell wasn't a walk in the park, it was a battle that tested Cutler's mettle. Despite not having the same spotlight as some of the other bigger names, Bedell's presence was felt. His competitiveness left an imprint on Cutler's career. It's like in a superhero movie, while the main villain gets all the attention, there's this unsung hero making the protagonist work for their victory. Bedell might not have been on every magazine cover or in every headline, But in the world of Cutler's bodybuilding journey, he was a pivotal figure, a reminder that greatness isn't just defined by fame, but by the grit and competition brought by underrated warriors like Bedell. Chris Cormier might not have been in the spotlight as much as some of the other big names in bodybuilding, but in Jay Cutler's eyes, he was a hidden gem, a powerhouse that deserved more recognition. It's like finding a rare diamond in a sea of jewels. Cutler surprised everyone by pointing the spotlight at Cormier, praising him as a remarkably strong rival. According to Cutler, Cormier's impact on competitors and the bodybuilding world was on another level. I mean, Cutler went as far as to say that Cormier's influence surpassed even the legendary Ronnie Coleman. That's a real bold statement. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just empty praise. Cutler shared anecdotes that showcased Cormier's insane strength feats, painting a vivid picture of this unsung hero lifting weight that could make even Hercules raise an eyebrow. What's really fascinating is how Cutler's acknowledgement of Cormier gave us a different lens to view strength and competition in bodybuilding. It's not just about the ones under the spotlight.
Less emphasis on the symmetry of the physique. I know it's important, but it was less.
I have to give my hat to every single one of them. Chris Cormier, to not let him go. Chris Cormier, he was one of the best. It's still.
Coming back, doing more quarter turns, you know. So you might stand and do like.
It's about recognizing the quiet giants, the ones who might not have had the same fame, but have the strength to move mountains. These rivals, each with their own unique strengths and impacts, were the threads that wove the fabric of Jay Cutler's career. They contributed to his growth, resilience, and the very evolution of the sport itself, leaving an indelible mark on the world of bodybuilding. And that's gonna do it for this video, guys. See you next time, and bye for now.